Buenos dias. Wake up, wake up. You already know Omni Cosmic in the house. Today's Majestic Monday. I hope you had a beautiful 2 days, that you were able to recalibrate yourself and build a better fortification for your soul. Wake up, wake up. Had a good weekend, or end of week, whatever you want to call it. 2 days off. Um, so here we go. Manifestation Monday. I'm gonna start this one off easy and quick. Hello, buenos dias. Thank you for coming in and saying hi. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing well. So here we go, Manifestation Monday. I step into this week with grace, clarity, and unshakable confidence. I own my space, trust my inner wisdom, and move toward my goals with the poise of someone who already knows they are enough. Thank you for the like. So today's posture of power. Take a moment to roll your shoulders back and lift your chin. I already did all this this morning, but we can do it again. And if you're sitting at your desk or in your car, you can do it. Just roll your shoulders, get that tension off from, having too much fun. All right. Okay, so one of today's awakenings is to slow down what you're doing. Pay attention to what you're thinking about early this morning. Your children, everything that's going on. Try to pay attention to that as much as you can by slowing down. Because you still have that little energy from the weekend, just a little bit, right? I don't. So today things are rushed. Everybody's rushing right now. Everybody's going here. It's vacation time, right? You're on the holidays. Love you too, brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. There's a lot going on. You got FIFA. You just had the NBA championship. Knicks won. Knickerbockers. And just a lot of emotional stuff going on. All the wars, all the politics and all that stuff. All that stuff that you took in on the weekend. Let it go. A lot of energy that can put you in a whirlwind of emotions, and that's really hard to get away from when you're trying to come back to align yourself. So try to be aware of all of that stuff, and there's a lot to be aware of, believe me, but just stuff comes in, let it go. So slow down today if you can. I mean, make it a point. Like, don't, if you can, make it a point to slow down, to think, just to observe. But slow down if you can. So instead of getting bogged down with small stressors, keep your eyes on the big picture. So what's the big picture? So I always talk about micro accomplishments and micro um, affirmations, right? But in essence, it all ends up being part of your overall um, overall goal, right? And it's to be in peace, to be at peace. Um, is to be aware of everything that comes into contact with you mentally, emotionally, however it comes through, whether it's visual, sound, touch, helps you um, accept and grow with that experience, right? Um, not just let it happen, right? Be aware of it. So slow down today on Monday. So that was today's morning affirmation, which is good. It's a good start. Roll your shoulders, or slow down to the things that we want to manifest today. Yeah. All right. Let's do a quote for today. Let me see if I have. All right, here's a quote for the day. So the quote for the day is: "The sun himself is weak when he first rises, and gathers strength and courage as the day goes on." That's Charles Dickens. We already read who that is a while ago. If you don't know who that is, look him up. I believe he's an author. I should have that in here. I think I wrote it down. Yeah, he's a novelist. So Charles Dickens quotes: "The sun himself is weak when he first rises, and gathers strength and courage as the day goes on." And that's the sun. So imagine, you are a particle of that, and how you wake up weak. We all wake up weak, right? Gather energy as we go, and then hopefully dissipates by the time it's time for you to go to bed, and you've had a full day. May knowledge fulfill you, and may wisdom guide you in all aspects of life. As much as you can pay attention and be aware of what's going on in here, then you should be able to manifest what you need and what you're willing to give up and what you're willing to share in this day. Manifestation. Okay, here's the best part. You ready? Here's the poem. All right, so I read this poem. This poem I read it every Monday. Every Monday. Repetition forces reconditioning, right? So the more you repeat something, the more you begin to subconsciously attain its belief in that manifestation. So the more you repeat it, the more you do it. Like playing sports, the more you practice, the better you become. So at life, the more you practice at it, the better you become in your own life. Hello, Luke. Buenos dias. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Wake up, wake up. So here's a poem, or limerick, whatever you want to call it. The sun ascends a velvet throne to claim a sky of sapphire blue. The morning seeds of hope are sown in colors bright and hours new. Like in honors new, sorry. No longer tethered to the rest, the spirit climbs the mountain peak to put its quiet strength to test and find the strength, the greatness that we seek. With steady heart and widened gaze, the common path becomes a right, a sovereign soul in golden haze, turning the shadows into light. So walk with grace and breathe in deep. The crown you wear is yours to keep. There it is. Hope you liked it. Short and sweet. So we're on Samuel 25. This chapter's chapter 25 is David, Nabal, and Abigail. If you guys have been coming on here for the past couple of weeks, we've been reading the book of Samuel in the NIV version of the Old Testament. I just want to say that more. Hello. Hi, Harvey. Thank you for saying hello. Buenos dias. Wake up, like, share, subscribe. I just wanted to say that I don't know how you guys feel about, what you feel outside of, in your aura, the pressures that are here in this atmosphere, right? It's getting heavier and heavier, right? You have to battle more and more. The more it seems like, the more my dreams. I don't have dreams, man. I usually have nightmares. My dream is to dream. But thank you for the question. But if you have dreams, follow your dreams. So you can, if you're an empath, right? You can feel and you can see. You can feel mainly, right? The blanket of change, of chaos. You can feel it. You don't have to react to it. You just got to be aware that it's there. It's like a big net of confusion, of emotion, of high stress. Of course, with everything that's being pushed on everyone in this world, you're gonna feel it. We're feeling it. Everybody's feeling it. You can't fight evil with evil. That's not gonna work. It's not. People. You have to go to war. It's not gonna work. Jesus Christ didn't go to war. He let it be known, but he didn't go to war because you can't fix anything with war. You get into a physical altercation with another man, right? At the end of the day, especially here in America, what ends up happening? You end up with being in the system, paying money on probation, whatever. It's a horrible thing. You can't even defend yourself, which is horrible, right? You can get shot and jailed and put up, but you can't defend yourself because then you're not a man if you can't defend yourself, and if you do defend yourself, they're gonna put you in prison for defending yourself. So it's kind of difficult for for anyone trying to get past this age, if we can, right? If you make it this far, hey, you good. If you made it this far, if you want to make it any further, it's really up in the air, right? Saw this movie last night. What's the movie? Let me see. This is a good movie. And right now I don't just watch movies just to watch movies anymore. I used to just watch movies. Now I watch movies for entertainment purposes because I wasn't aware of the messaging behind it until one day I was watching TV and I saw a subliminal message. I literally saw it. Like I literally saw the television blink into another screen with the message on it. I literally saw that as a kid. It scared the crap out of me. And then I couldn't unsee it. Those are one of the things that that kind of motivated me to figure out how to navigate this lie that we've been put under. When I saw that, I was like, whoa, what was that? And then I saw it in a movie theater. I saw a message, subliminal message, and those are the things that made me aware of that something was wrong. I'm like, what was that? That was kind of strange. Why wouldn't somebody give us a message directly? So Manifestation Monday, it's a good day. Calm, slow down, do some shoulder wraps. We're thankful. Please give us discernment. Discernment is important when you're reading anything, especially the Bible, right? The Bible um, has been changed. Religious people use it as a weapon. I know it because it's being done to me now. In this moment, people are using religious texts and religious videos to attack me. And these people are the people who said that they love me. They're using videos. If I show you the videos, they're dumb videos. They're indoctrination videos. So people are sending me these things. Religious fanatics that have no idea what they're doing. No idea. Hey, what they're learning, what they're being indoctrinated. They have no idea, but they're willing to give their lives for something that they have no idea about. And this is religious indoctrination. So, remember I was talking about, just this Samuel book, right? How the moment that this Lord says to the folks, you're not listening to me, you don't love me, he was getting rid of them. Do you understand? So what I was following up with that with the other day is a lot of people like to claim religion, right? Oh, I'm Muslim. Oh, listen to me. Listen to me and listen clearly. These religions do not play when it comes to this indoctrination. They run up on you. It's like I don't know, this is serious stuff. People talk about, they don't know anything about the Bible. They don't know anything about the history, about the, Jesus Christ and all those wars, those religious wars. If you don't know anything about them, stop claiming to be Christian. Stop claiming to be Muslim. If you're not from there, if you didn't grow up with them, you didn't learn with them, that is not your religion. That is not your fight. That's on them. But they want to make it your fight because they call you the Goyim and they use you. So believe me when I tell you, that stuff is no joke. Don't be coming around or people saying, yeah, I'm Christian and I'm Muslim. When they come step to you, and this is another reason why I know religion people are fake, because I know of stories, right? Not anyone personally, that have switched religions right in the middle of a war, right? I mean, it's only the right thing to do if you self-preservation, right? Somebody got a gun to your head and they say, hey, are you Christian or Muslim? And you don't even know what they are. Let's just say, what you gonna do then? You're gonna be proudful. Your ego is gonna kick all over the place and say how God's gonna save you at that moment that your life is being threatened because you chose to follow something that you have no idea about. These people are no joke. I don't know. You guys read about the Spanish Inquisition. I don't know if you guys know about that, but you need to know about that. Read the Spanish Inquisition. What was done to indigenous folks across the world. Millions of people were executed because they thought differently. Heresy, they called it. And they're still doing it today. It's still being done. Ain't nothing changed. They got you wiped out with this television, with all this entertainment. It's still being done today. People are still being persecuted, no matter what religion that you're in. And that's the kind of God that you serve blindly. I personally can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that. See the things that they do in this Bible? To people? To countries? To babies? To women? No, pretty sure you haven't. But you'll yell and you'll scream, Christianity, and you will do things, atrocious things to each other because of a belief. Knowledge is power to take away control over something that you should be able to control yourself, that you have direct contact with. You don't need an intermediary, right? These folks telling you, hey, come to me and give me money and I'll give you a gateway to heaven. Wake up, wake up. All these people doing it, taking your money, taking your time, taking your energy, and you ain't gonna do nothing but die. That's it. There's gonna be no doors to heaven. There's gonna be no doors to hell. You're not even gonna know what happens. You're just gonna resurrect right back. If you're a sun person, you're coming from the sun. If you're a moon person, that's where you're coming from. Robots. I was discussing this with somebody yesterday. It's good to see that folks are seeing things for what they are. But of course, the blanket is being thickened. So what I mean by that is if you can feel it in the atmosphere when you're trying to see things. The moon, I don't know where the moon is at. I've been looking for the moon for the last couple weeks. Me and the moon are well acquainted, so she's not out there. I'm going out there. I'm looking out for her, and I can't see her. Have you seen the moon lately? I don't know. Maybe it's me. But I've been going out at night. Say there was one night I noticed. I don't even think I can point when I noticed the moon is missing from my side anyway. I would say maybe the beginning of June. In the beginning of June, there was so many things going on, right, in the world, and it just seemed kind of heavy, like a lot of misinformation. Boom, 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 boom. Right. Listen, I don't watch news. You want to know what I'm watching? I'm watching an old school boxing match. Garcia and Tago. Watch it. I make the news. So I went out. I go out at nighttime, real quick, every now and again. But there's particular nights and days that I go out just unconsciously. I know. But no, I don't know. But I'm done. I'm like, well, it's just outside, literally. Luna had a lot of control over my emotions, as a young man and growing up. So I would always notice the moon. Always. Always. When I was outside. There was a point in time when I saw the moon almost every day. I think it was last year. Yeah. Last year, almost every day. Because I was, living in my car so I can see her clearly. Felt something. But it's been the last couple of days I haven't seen the moon. Have you guys seen the moon? I don't know, man. Maybe it's me. I haven't. Let me know. All right, so let's get into this. May knowledge fulfill you and wisdom guide you. As above, so below, so within, so without. All right, so here we go. Anyway, check this out. Before I go, before we get into the Bible, so remember this channel, right, is about reconditioning in every sense of the word. I wrote a 30-page guide that I would like someone to review for me for free. I'll give you access to my Google Drive. I need your email address. I'm not going to give you a PDF file. I'll give you access as a commentator on that document. If you would like to do so, please send me your email. I'll send out a short or whatever, and some information in my community about that document that I wrote in terms of reconditioning. So there was a lot of people interested, basically in how I was looking physically, right? Because that's all you can see. People a lot more material than internal. So I was explaining what I was doing, beating cancer, losing weight, basically just losing weight. It has a lot to do with emotion and mental status, of course. Definitely, you can't continue to transcend if you're fragmented. You have to be whole in order to complete or accomplish something so important as keeping your health and your mental and emotional self stable, because it is heavy. Am I right? It is heavy. It's heavy with emotions and everything is just in disarray. That's okay for out there, but you got to be aligned in here so when you do go out there, right, and you talk to folks and you deal with things, you'll be able to better manage and balance your comms with others. I always tell folks that when you're involved in any situation that has to do with a different entity or another entity, you no longer are that individual. You are part of that circumstance. So either you can control it, be the leader in that circumstance, or you're going to be, the tail. Either which one. You be the head or the tail in that circumstance. And it always happens like that, no matter what you do. Now, when you're dealing with yourself, you are one. When you're dealing with others, then you become one of something else, a different element. So you got to keep that in mind. So when you see and you feel the people beginning to become unraveled in their in their being around you, you'll see it. You'll know how to respond. You'll know. But this is for empaths again. I don't know how other people deal with stuff. I only know, narcissists that I've dealt with all my life and empaths, which I am, right? So I'm talking to you, empath. Straight like that. So it's getting rough. It's getting harder and harder. That's what she said. To be able to discern any type of reality. It is like it's becoming so intertwined that it is going to be one, and you're going to be. You guys are done. You're done. You are done. Unless you wake up, and you don't have to listen to me. You don't have to listen to me. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to anyone. Do your own research. Teach your children the Bible. Show them Proverbs. Show them Psalms. Give them some knowledge. There's knowledge in these here pages. There is. And knowledge is power. Is what you do with that knowledge that gives you that self power. Regardless if people are lying, right? And you can tell as an empath, you can feel it. You can feel it even before they open their mouths that they're gonna lie. um, and sometimes that's a burden. Sometimes it's a burden, because you feel all of it even before it happens. So a lot of us got to stay away from folks. But you do have to still interact in society, in this place, in this system. You can't just, wipe it all off and walk away from it. You have to be part of it. You just have to be more aware of how you're interacting with it, what you're contributing. It's heavy. It is heavy. All the falseness, all the, and I'm telling you that me, for instance, for instance, my life has changed a lot, right? My life was in turmoil all the time because of me, right? Because of uh, uh, not being able to discern, how to respond to certain particular situations and things of that nature. Where I was not, I would, like the other day I said, how can you love someone if you never been loved? If you don't know what love is, so that's the same thing of you going around, or anyone. And remember, every time I say something, I'm talking to myself as well. Talking to myself first. This is therapy for me. Um, so be aware. Let's all be aware as much as we can on a daily basis. Internalizing everything that we see, but being able to um, learn from it, share it, be part of it. Everything moves, so stay in movement, but also be cautious of your movements, of your interactions. Um, well, nobody knows where they're going. Nobody knows where they're going to end up. The narrative of you should be doing this at a certain time in your life, or you should be here. Look at that. Look at the reality of that. Look at the reality of that false carpet of, or hey, you should be doing this at this age. You should be. That's not true. Go outside and look out. Walk around and look at the people. Look at the people. All the it's insane, man. It's insane. It is insane. But that's okay. This has nothing to do with your growth, but it is something to look at. It is something to be aware of, and then bring it back home. Let that be what it is. Be aware of it. accept it, and let it go. So if there's anybody who would like to share, who would like, send me your email. Again, I'm gonna put a short on there. I'll just show you what it looks like real quick. Can I do that? Hold on. Let me see. I might read a little bit to you, just a little bit. Where is it? Here it is. All right, there it is. There's the table of contents. This is like I've never written a book. I don't even know if it's a book. It's 30 pages. It's a guide. Um, so this is the table of contents. The first thing is the alarm clock and the matrix. It's a preface, so it's all it's formatted. I'm just doing some tweaks here and there. So if there's anyone that wants to read it and give me your honest opinion, please let me know. Shoot me your email and I'll give you access to the file. Oops. Come on. All right, so if you want to do that, let me know. I appreciate it. If not, then I'll find some folks to do so. But there it is. I don't know if I can show you a different view. Let's try that. Well, anyway, that's the print layout. First book ever. 30 pages, not bad. I got some tweaking to do, that's okay. But there it is. So if you want to read it, if you want to review it, please let me know. It's going to be free. Then I'm going to put it on Amazon. Let me see if I can. So I'm going to read you this real quick. This is from the back end stuff. It says, in this raw, unfiltered, and deeply personal blueprint for total human transformation, YouTube digital minister Omni, and that's not what I wanted, but I'll change that. Omni Cosmic shares the hard-hitting secrets that saved his life, from the freezing concrete of absolute homelessness to a devastating cancer diagnosis where traditional medicine only made things worse. He refused to let the Matrix dictate his ending. He threw away the roles, seized sovereign control of his temple, and completely engineered his own miraculous healing. That's part of the book. That's what I did. So there it is. I'm gonna do some tweaking this weekend. I'm gonna put it on live, man, because I ain't got no time to be wasting. Title. So basically, I put that together because people were interested in what was going on, right? Say, hey, how do you do that? How do you do that? And the game is to be sold, not to be told. But I'm joking there. But again, you want to review it? Let me know. I'll give you access to it. All I need is your email address. I don't need anything with it, just to give you access so you can read it. If you don't give me any comments, but you got to read it, that's fine. I don't care. But it is gonna go on Amazon in a couple of weeks, or maybe, I don't know, as soon as I get to edit or get to a final draft, which is I'm just putting it out there so you guys let me know. Cool. All right, here we go. We're gonna do Samuel book 20, chapter 25 in book 1. As I normally do, above all, love deeply. Above all, love deeply. Above all. Wake up, wake up. So there it is, the U version. I'm going to click on here. and it'll drop me right back where I was. Now, there's gonna be other books I'm gonna read. I'm gonna be reading here. I don't know if we have apps for those books, but I gotta figure those things out because there's, uh, the Book of Enoch, Book of Thomas, the Sefer, the Talmud, which is volumes, but I don't know if I'm gonna have to do that. I don't think I need to. And other books. Symbology is another one that I'm interested in. And then there's a book that was written by this gentleman that I follow on Facebook called The Book of Wisdom. He has 2 volumes. Basically all the stuff that I've been reading about. He has pretty good way of breaking it down in images, and I'm gonna get that and read it because and just tie it up to what I've been reading and what I've been studying and things. And again, the more and more you go into reading this type of literature or this type of information, it is mysterious. And then when you unravel it, it's like, okay, now what? Nothing. You can't use it. This is not it says basic information before leaving Earth, but there's nothing that you can use in this Bible other than being like Jesus Christ. And you got to read about who he was. I don't know if you know about narcissism or where he was for that period of time where he was missing, but he was studying. He was studying all kind of stuff. So, you got to know about that, which they don't let you know. So anyway, here we go. I'm gonna let this guy read.
1 Samuel chapter 25. Now Samuel died, and all Israel assembled and mourned for him, and they buried him at his home in Ramah. Then David moved down into the desert of Paran. A certain man in Maon, who had property there at Carmel, was very wealthy. He had 1,000 goats and 3,000 sheep, which he was shearing in Carmel. His name.
You notice what he said when he was very wealthy. He had 1,000 goats. And so wealth is not about paper. It's not about paper. I always like to say the richest people on this planet don't pay rent. They don't, which is true. They own their own land. They don't got to pay anybody anything. And what they do is they barter. Whether, don't barter with these big corporations because they will take your stuff. They will violate you, talking about you doing bad stuff when they're the ones that are going to do it in the first place. But yeah, I like to say that I watch videos about people all over the world where there's nothing in terms of what we have. But they're living beautiful. Now, I'm not saying that I can do it. I was just thinking about that yesterday. Americans will die, bro, if you put us in a cave or somewhere where we don't have the stuff that we have. I guess that's basically what we're fighting for. It's not, it's what we have, because if we give it up, we're going to have to find a different way of life. And that ain't easy. People are spoiled, entitled to have these things. What would you do if you didn't have a TV? What would you do if you didn't have a phone? What would you do if you didn't have any type of reading material? What would you do? You would go insane. You would go fall into depression so fast that you would probably, not survive that kind of situation. Not having all these amenities, air conditioning, you'd probably die. You'd probably like, oh, I can't do it. I was just thinking about that. So the grass isn't green, isn't always green on the other side. So try to make this place where we live now better, right? Anyway, so this is wealth that he's talking about, owning animals, not cars and jewelry.
Was Nabal, and his wife's name was Abigail. She was an intelligent and beautiful woman, but her husband was surly and mean in his dealings. He was a Calebite. While David was in the wilderness, he heard that Nabal was shearing sheep. So he sent 10 young men and said to them, "Go up to Nabal at Carmel and greet him in my name. Say to him, 'Long life to you, good health to you and your household, and good health to all that is yours. Now I hear that it is sheep shearing time. When your shepherds were with us, we did not ill-treat them, and the whole time they were at Carmel, nothing of theirs was missing. Ask your own servants, and they will tell you. Therefore be favorable towards my men. Since we come at a festive time, please give your servants and your son David whatever you can find for them. When David's men arrived, they gave Nabal this message in David's name. Then they waited. Nabal answered David's servant, "Who is this David? Who is this son of Jesse? Many servants are breaking away from their masters these days. Why should I take my bread and water and the meat I've slaughtered for my shearers and give it to men coming from who knows where?" David's men turned round and went back. When they arrived, they reported every word. David said to his men, "Each of you strap on your sword." So they did, and David strapped his on as well. About 400 men went up with David, while 200 stayed with the supplies. One of the servants told Abigail, Nabal's wife, "David sent messengers from the wilderness to give our master his greetings, but he hurled insults at them. Yet these men were very good to us. They did not ill-treat us, and the whole time we were out in the fields near them, nothing was missing. Night and day, they were a wall around us the whole time we were herding our sheep near them. Now think it over and see what you can do, because disaster is hanging over our master and his whole household. He is such a wicked man that no one can talk to him." Abigail acted quickly. She took 200 loaves of bread, 2 skins of wine, 5 dressed sheep, 5 seahs of roasted grain, 100 cakes of raisins, and 200 cakes of pressed figs, and loaded them on donkeys. Then she told her servants, "Go on ahead." But she did not tell her husband Nabal. As she came riding on her donkey into a mountain ravine, there were David and his men descending towards her, and she met them. David had just said, "It's been useless, all my watching over this fellow's property in the wilderness, so that nothing of his was missing. He has paid me back evil for good. May God deal with David, be it ever so severely, if by morning I leave alive one male of all that belong to him." When Abigail saw David, she quickly got off her donkey and bowed down before David with her face to the ground. She fell at his feet and said, "Pardon your servant, my lord, and let me speak to you. Hear what your servant has to say. Please pay no attention, my lord, to that wicked man Nabal. He is just like his name. His name means fool, and folly goes with him. As for me, your servant, I did not see the men my lord sent. And now, my lord, as surely as the Lord your God lives, and as you live, since the Lord has kept you from bloodshed and from avenging yourself with your own hands, may your enemies and all who are intent on harming my lord be like Nabal. And let this gift which your servant has brought to my lord be given to the men who follow you. Please forgive your servant's presumption. The Lord your God will certainly make a lasting dynasty for my lord, because you fight the Lord's battles, and no wrongdoing will be found in you as long as you live. Even though someone is pursuing you to take your life, the life of my lord will be bound securely in the bundle of the living by the Lord your God. But the lives of your enemies he will hurl away as from the pocket of a sling. When the Lord has fulfilled for my lord every good thing he promised concerning him, and has appointed him ruler over Israel, my lord will not have on his conscience the staggering burden of needless bloodshed, or of having avenged himself. And when the Lord your God has brought my lord success, remember your servant." David said to Abigail, "Praise be to the Lord, the God of Israel, who has sent you today to meet me. May you be blessed for your good judgment, and for keeping me from bloodshed this day, and from avenging myself with my own hands. Otherwise, as surely as the Lord, the God of Israel, lives, who has kept me from harming you, if you had not come quickly to meet me, not one male belonging to Nabal would have been left alive by daybreak." Then David accepted from her hand what she had brought to him.
It's important to realize this. Got to realize this. Throughout reading the Old Testament, I've been saying, wow, this is horrible. Wow, this is atrocious. Wow, this is, But because this entity that they were following around, that was following them, that was putting them in chains, taking them out of chains, putting them in certain circumstances, taking them out, whatever. Just to say, I've always said this: if you were a king or a queen, or whatever you want to call a person in power at that time, a false government, whatever it is, right? You're gonna do what you gotta do to stay in power, whatever it takes. Because the moment, especially if you're doing, let's say, if you're evil, which most of them are, like if you're an evil leader, you will pay. Like everybody pays for their dues, right? You get everybody gets their just desserts, right? So if you're ruling, your subjects in a way where you're just taking and taking and taking and not sharing and not showing that leadership is about love and about how we grow together, you're gonna have problems. So what's gonna happen is that it's gonna be perpetual, because now people have figured out what you've been doing. And once people figure that out, you may think, you may start to do stuff like this, taking people out. So understand that. Understand that this God was just taking people out because they weren't following, or they were doing all this, whatever they were doing. I'll just take them out. Listen to that. Look at what's going on. Wake up, wake up. It's the same thing. They're doing the same thing. They've been doing the same thing. Back in the days when I was young, I wish I was a kid again. Remember that song? Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore, but some days I say, wish I was a kid again. That's how it goes. So, wake up, wake up. Again, this is gonna happen. They're gonna do this. You want to change this place? You want to be here and fight for change when it's never gonna happen? These people, this thing is beyond the physical realm. All you do is come. I'm passing through. You come in, and then if you fall victim to that, you're done. You become a battery for this place. So wake up, wake up. Here we go.
Said, "Go home in peace. I have heard your words and granted your request." When Abigail went to Nabal, he was in the house holding a banquet like that of a king. He was in high spirits and very drunk. So she told him nothing at all until daybreak. Then, in the morning, when Nabal was sober, his wife told him all these things, and his heart failed him, and he became like a stone. About 10 days later, the Lord struck Nabal, and he died.
Of course.
When David heard that Nabal was dead, he said, "Praise be to the Lord, who has upheld my cause against Nabal for treating me with contempt. He has kept his servant from doing wrong, and has brought Nabal's wrongdoing down on his own head." Then David sent word to Abigail, asking her to become his wife. His servants went to Carmel and said to Abigail, "David has sent us to you to take you to become his wife." She bowed down with her face to the ground and said, "I am your servant, and am ready to serve you and wash the feet of my Lord's servants." Abigail quickly got on a donkey, and attended by her 5 female servants, went with David's messengers and became his wife. David had also married Ahinoam of Jezreel, and they were both his wives. But Saul had given his daughter Michal, David's wife, to Paltiel, son of Laish, who was from Galim. 1 Samuel chapter 26. The Ziphites went to Saul at Gibeah and said, "Is not David hiding on the hill of Hachilah, which faces Jeshimon?" So Saul went down to the desert of Ziph with his 3,000 select Israelite troops to search there for David. Saul made his camp beside the road on the hill of Hachilah facing Jeshimon, But David stayed in the wilderness. When he saw that Saul had followed him there, he sent out scouts and learned that Saul had definitely arrived. Then David set out and went to the place where Saul had camped. He saw where Saul and Abner, son of Ner, the commander of the army, had lain down. Saul was lying inside the camp, with the army camped around him. David then asked Ahimelech the Hittite and Abishai, son of Zeruiah, Joab's brother, "Who will go down into the camp with me to Saul?" "I'll go with you," said Abishai. So David and Abishai went to the army by night, and there was Saul, lying asleep inside the camp with his spear stuck in the ground near his head. Abner and the soldiers were lying round him. Abishai said to David, "Today God has given your enemy into your hands. Now let me pin him to the ground with one thrust of the spear. I won't strike him twice." But David said to Abishai, "Don't destroy him. Who can lay a hand on the Lord's anointed and be guiltless? As surely as the Lord lives," he said, "the Lord himself will strike him, or his time will come and he will die, or he will go into battle and perish. But the Lord forbid that I should lay a hand on the Lord's anointed." Now,
Just that verse alone, you imagine the impact of a person that's going to use this type of information against you. How that can be read, it would be so emotionally powerful that you would be transfixed by these words, depending on the individual and how they use it to get their point across. I could just see that sermon. And he died among, like, they would emotionally pull you in because you don't know how to control your emotions. You've never been taught that. They have, right? And they do. Why do they do it? But to get paid, to get money, to get rich. And then what happens then? Nothing happens. They die just like everybody else. So I mean, just listen to what's going on in this old book. It'll stress you out. Nah.
"Get the spear and water jug that are near his head, and let's go." So David took the spear and water jug near Saul's head, and they left. No one saw or knew about it, nor did anyone wake up. They were all sleeping, because the Lord had put them into a deep sleep. Then David crossed over to the other side and stood on top of the hill some distance away. There was a wide space between them. He called out to the army and to Abner, son of Ner, "Aren't you going to answer me, Abner?" Abner replied, "Who are you who calls to the king?" David said, "You're a man, aren't you? And who is like you in Israel? Why didn't you guard your lord the king? Someone came to destroy your lord the king. What you have done is not good. As surely as the Lord lives, you and your men must die, because you did not guard your master, the Lord's anointed. Look around you. Where are the king's spear and water jug that were near his head?" Saul recognized David's voice and said, "Is that your voice, David, my son?" David replied, "Yes, it is, my lord the king." And he added, "Why is my lord pursuing his servant? What have I done, and what wrong am I guilty of? Now let my lord the king listen to his servant's words. If the Lord has incited you against me, then may he accept an offering. If, however, people have done it, may they be cursed before the Lord. They have driven me today from my share in the Lord's inheritance, and have said, 'Go serve other gods.' Now do not let my blood fall to the ground far from the presence of the Lord. The king of Israel has come out to look for a flea, as one hunts a partridge in the mountains." Then Saul said, "I have sinned. Come back, David, my son. Because you considered my life precious today, I will not try to harm you again. Surely I have acted like a fool, and have been terribly wrong. Here is the king's spear, David answered. Let one of your young men come over and get it. The Lord rewards everyone for their righteousness and faithfulness. The Lord gave you into my hands today, but I would not lay a hand on the Lord's anointed. As surely as I valued your life today, so may the Lord value my life and deliver me from all trouble.
Might kill him later.
Then Saul said to David, May you be blessed, David, my son. You will do great things and surely triumph. So David went on his way, and Saul returned home.
There you go. We got 2 more to go. 27 and 28. Love you so natural. Wake up, wake up. I will see you mañana. I was going to say majestic again. Have a great manifestation Monday. Do some shoulder rolls. Do things a little slower than usual. And let's remember that quote. Ready? And we're going to read it again because I liked it. I liked it. The sun himself is weak when he first rises and gathers strength and courage as the day goes on. Love your soul, natural. Wake up, wake up. Ya tú sabes. May knowledge fulfill you and may wisdom guide your choices and decisions.